Recorded live with little or no editing. It's Defense Up. I'm Run 7. How you doing? Today we are going over Lord Rick.
Show here.
Just had to do that, didn't you, chat? And you can have fun with chat too by using my channel points, which I forgot to turn off, which are probably going to happen continuously through the recording of this video. As we go over Lord Richter's defense, Lord Richter's coming in at like a gajillion TCP. I think it was 80-something million TCP, so that's pretty cool. He recently moved some stuff from his defense to offense, and he says that he is able to clear what he needs to clear. So we're going to kind of leave some of this stuff on, which may seem like a lot, but remember, Cabal team will be out in full effect by the time round 1 starts as of this recording. And so there's going to be a little bit more options for those of you who are purchasing the leader and getting him up and running earlier. All right, room 1 is an unlimited team with Phoenix. What we want to do is we're going to swap Phoenix with Jubilee out of another room that you'll see coming up. A Phoenix this big, you could probably go Striker or Raider depending on what you want to do. We no longer have to stick with Skirmisher. She got a pretty decent rework. Not amazing, but decent. The reason we're bringing Jubilee in here is not because of Jubilee affecting this team so much as Phoenix helping the team that she's going to go into. So we'll see that later. But Jubilee will be okay in here and do some things. We're trying to spread out defenses right now because we are expecting that Cabal team to come in and start crushing a lot of stuff. And so you don't want to have all your power in one room because it's probably going to get rocked by that new Cabal Crucible team, which kind of slaps everything. Otherwise, this is really good. I'm going to go ahead and give this an A-. It's just a little tweak of character change. This isn't wrong. It's just I think we can do better in another room. Moving on to room 2 is the SD Noir defense. It's old, but it works. We're not expecting this to do anything other than draw in a new Warriors drop dagger, replace Lizard, and just crush this team. Lizard helps that percentage chance of Noir clearing the evades and then being rewound by the hard light on the wrong place. There's a 16% chance it fails if you don't add Lizard into that counter. So that's kind of what's happening as we're drawing Lizard out. Hopefully, it may not happen. Either way, this team is going to fold, and it is a useful team on offense. Those of you who are watching this may want to consider using this team for offense and replacing it with something else. But for our purposes, it's pretty good. Also, just today, as of recording this video, we learned that Spider Society is coming out and Noir is on that team. So if you haven't built Noir, now's the time. I think that the team's going to be great for raids, and this one is probably big enough to handle the raids that it's going to be going into these days. So for me, this team is begrudgingly, and oh, sorry, we do have a problem with this. Photon and Robbie, we need to swap those ISOs. You want Robbie as a striker, so he's getting an extra bleed on the field, which gives him speed, and getting extra charges on his ISO attack. That's very valuable to get him speeding up and flipping things on the opponent when he breathes his flaming fire breath on everybody. And then Photon is a raider because we want a few more vulnerables on the field, and she does splash and AoE damage and can crit a lot, so that's a good one. So swap those ISOs. I'm going to give this a A- because of those ISOs. We are going to be looking for some new things to put in room 2 going forward. Room 3, the Infinity Watch. Skipping that. Room 4 is the Extreme. Now, this is where we're taking Jubilee out and putting Phoenix in. Phoenix has a lot more synergy with Cyclops. And in here, Phoenix could be a striker or probably a raider is going to be a better choice. We no longer need to leave her a skirmisher. Remember when she dies and her summons comes back, the Dark Phoenix, the summons won't have an ISO. So that's why we never really invested in that ISO. But now she's getting big enough, she might actually survive a little bit. All right. When you make that swap of putting Phoenix in here, it's going to go Forge, Sunspot, Nightcrawler, then it's going to be Phoenix then it's going to be Cyclops, and then Phoenix in the corner is how you should probably place that. The other ISOs on this team are fine. Jubilee going back into room 1. She could be a skirmisher for room 1 to take advantage of those bonuses, but outside of that, if you're building Jubilee these days, Striker's probably a good way to go, so you increase the amount. Like, Skirmisher gives her a bonus to focus, but an extra double tap into a vulnerable actually comes out a higher percentage chance that she's going to land a blind on her attacks. So I kind of like the Striker on her. All right, this is all right as it is, but the thing that's going to help this team the most is to help its next team, which is this team. We want this team to be in room 4, and we want this team to go to room 5. So I'm going to give this team a B-. Let's get them out of room 4. They're not taking advantage of the room rules as well as this team could. We're going to put Black Knight and friends into room 4. Black Knight could be a fortifier, but he's 7 red stars, so we're fine with him being a striker. He's big enough. Red Hulk, however, does not have a big enough health bar to hang with this crowd, so we're going to put A-Bomb in here to give him that 30% health bar, plus some drain and stuff I think he gets from A-Bomb. So we're going to drop Peggy to replace Abomination. Peggy doesn't do much. She's going to revive Captain America and do a wild amount of healing on the team. She does better damage than she used to, but it's just not enough. So we're going to drop Peggy. We're going to leave Quicksilver in here. Quicksilver is a deterrent to the Pegasus team coming in, but Pegasus is probably still a counter for these kind of Gamma style teams. Anyway, move this to room 4. We're going to change the placement, putting Captain America in one corner, Black Knight in the other corner, and then Red Hulk in the middle with Quicksilver and Abomination in the back row in room 4. ISOs on this team are pretty good. So this team is not terrible, but it's also not being used very effectively. Probably the most wasteful thing we've seen so far. I'm gonna go B- on this. Like I said, it's still okay, but it needs to be in room 4 to really get the value out of it. And then finally, in room 6, here's one that a lot of people were like, well, this is totally beatable and it's a lot of big stuff. Yeah, but it's pulling things away from those other defenses so that they are more efficient because you can't use the top tier counter on those. You can easily one-shot this team with Apocalypse and some other stuff. There's a variety of ways to go about it. Chat was talking about it. But that's not the point. The point is that we're trying to draw other stuff away from the rest of the defense. This seems to work just fine. I personally like 99 as a skirmisher so that he's flipping the things he needs to flip on his opening move and definitely landing at least one of those vulnerables out there. Also, that's a 3 diamond Dormammu. Let's make him a striker, shall we? I think that's just fine. So aside from those ISO changes, it's pretty good. I think that Zuggs is getting big enough that he may not need to be a fortifier. So keep him as a fortifier, not really a big deal. I think this team is all right. I think we just need to adjust those ISOs, and it could be a lot better. I'm going to give it an A- for right now. I hope Lord Richter gets in there, makes some of those changes, and gets back to just crushing it in Cosmic Crucible. We do have some room rule changes. I think the season is coming to a close as long as they don't extend it anytime soon. I don't remember where we're at on those, and I don't know where we're at as far as this video posting, so it could have already happened by the time you guys are seeing it. Anyways, guys, don't just have a good game, be good to yourselves and others too, and I'll see you next time. Bye.